Hey everybody, and welcome back. Today I want to make an art journal page. I have a page that has some grounding on it, and I can't remember what that is. I think it was maybe a mixture I wanted to test as a base for a page, as a background kind of thing, especially I think for my sketchbook. Because when I'm drawing and sketching, I do not really like when the paper is pure white, and I really like something off-white. And maybe that was this, and it's kind of a mix, I think, with a gel medium and some kind of color. It's not that important. I would recommend just priming a page with some clear gesso or some white gesso maybe for this technique I'm using. And it also depends on the paper you're using. If you have a good quality paper, you don't have to prime it at all. This journal is a very cheap journal. Paper is very horrible, but I love the journal, so I always prime the pages. I'm using our Sketchy Leaves #7 stencil, and I'm using it together with some black acrylic paint and a makeup sponge. I try to get something down on the page. I wasn't sure what brought me to the decision to start with this part, but I can remember, it's been a while that I did this page. I can remember that I just wanted to do something. I had no idea what. I wanted to create something. I wanted to play a little bit with inks and colors. Lately, I am very much into inks again, into the fluid properties of paints, because I really enjoy when they move around, when they do things you do not expect. And that's that's really inspiring at the moment for me. So I started this page by applying the stencil image to with a sponge and the black paint. I am a bit careful not to overload the sponge so the paint does not run under the stencil that much, because that usually happens, especially if you have an uneven surface like it's in a journal. It's often a little bit uneven, it's buckling, whatsoever. I'm adding the branches until I'm happy with the result. I don't want to overwork that, although I really like that as a starting point. And I think definitely this is something I will look into again, because it's really interesting to work over a contrasting background with some inks. And I believe that this might also be really nice when you add this to a watercolor paper, and then once that is dry, work over the top with watercolors or water soluble inks. And that might be something I want to try today. It's Tuesday when I'm doing that voiceover, and the video is meant to go live tomorrow, so for you it's today. And Tuesday is I would say my creative day a little bit. Well, not my creative day, it's my creative day, but it's my working day. I work in the mornings. I do my video for Wednesday usually, or for the next Wednesday. And then I pack some orders, and but then I have also some hours in the afternoon, because the kids are at school until later in the day, and I then usually do something creative in the afternoon. So I will maybe use that as an inspiration for today's project. What my goal was is using a color scheme that matches the right side of the double spread, so I would not go with something that was completely different. So everything stays a little bit cohesive. You can see I smudged in some of that black paint, and here I'm making some marks with a Stabilo All pencil, dipping the nib into water, and then I'm just making some scribbles. That part I would have loved if I would have done this a little bit later in process, also something to record and then next time do it better, because the Stabilo oil will bleed and it will bleed into all the inks I'm using on top. And that was a little bit annoying. It was not a problem and I got really nice textures there, but next time I would just try it the other way around. I'm using my favorite ink at first. It's the Sennelier fluorescent pink. I love that ink. It's such a lovely pink and it mixes so nicely with raw sienna. Yeah, that is just the most beautiful color in my eyes. I try to apply that carefully now. It's mixing in a bit, as I said, and then I try to just clean the brush and not to mix too much of the black into the pink, because I don't want to have a super muddy page in the end. I'm playing with the ink and water and I just blend the color. As I said, this was more of a play date for me. I did not think that this page would turn out good. And I thought I would press record just in case, and sometimes that's the best decision. I think my page is still wet and I'm now going in with a Neocolor in yellow, and it's similar to the raw sienna. Yellow also mixes wonderful with that fluorescent color. I just make some scribbles onto the page to, yeah, I just played, and that's the part I love the most about creating, is that playing with the materials. As always, you will find a link to our blog in the video description. There you can have a closer look at the finished spread. There will be photos posted, and I will also link up all the products I've been using for this page. And if you want to see more videos like this, or let's say not like this, more, I would say more real-time studio videos, process videos, I have a membership on YouTube. Just have a look at it. We have 1 year almost done, full of videos. I have usually two videos a month. It's every other Saturday, plus some bonus videos that I upload in between. Here I'm using a crayon from Art Graf. It's the tailor shape crayon. Really like this this medium. I use it a lot in white to make my splatters, and also the black one. And I use the colored ones also a lot in my sketchbook, because you can draw with it and you can use it like a watercolor. And I just broke a little piece of each of the crayon, put it in a tiny box, and then when I go out drawing outside or when I'm on holidays, I can take that tiny box with me. Here I'm using, I think, the white, definitely, to just bring in some highlights. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to make some splatters with it. But first I want to add in some stamping texture. I let everything dry before I did that. And I think I'm using the Versafine Clair ink here. And I'm not sure which stamp that is. I think it's from the Mix It Up 5 stamp set. I just used the text of that stamp to bring in some interest. I do not add a lot, just a little bit here and there. And as always, I also pick one of the number stamps from one of these Mix It Up sets to bring in even more texture. I can remember I really loved this page at this stage, and I wasn't sure what else to add. I definitely wanted to have some more contrast going on, but I didn't want to add anything focal to it because it just was so nice. I think the layout is perfect, the composition is good. I love the colors, just the black was a little bit too intense for me. So what I decided, I wanted to use a white Posca marker, and make a dot pattern all over the black areas to just bring in that contrast and to I would say mute the black a little bit with the white. And I'm just making a dot pattern. It's one of my favorite patterns to make. It's very harmonic, I feel, and you can vary it so much because you can make so many different looks with it. You can make big dots, small dots. You can put them close together, far apart. You can make them in different sizes in one pattern. You can create a swirly shape with it. It's so versatile and I use it a lot in my work. Excuse if there is some noise going on in the background. We have a river next to us and they're doing some work there, and yesterday it became very loud. Once I'm done with that pattern making, I add some black splatters. I thought white would have been a bit weird because of the white pattern I made, so I added some black splatters. And I'm also adding in a sentiment to the left bottom corner because it looked a bit empty. After the page was completely dry, I decided that I want to add a stenciled focal image where I've used the same stencil to make it, and I will link a video in the top right corner info box on how I made these botanical pieces. And I added one of them to this page because I thought that might be really lovely, but I think both options would have been fine without that botanical image and also with the botanical image. You will now see how the finished page turned out. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I hope you will see us next time. Bye!